Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Kansas Moonshot Podcast, where we are shining the spotlight on amazing things happening in schools across the state. Whether you're one of the Mercury, Gemini, or Apollo schools launching some amazing redesign plans, or a teacher trying to do something a little different, I want to share your story. The goal is to celebrate the awesomeness all around us. In this episode, I had the opportunity to interview Sharon Kuchinski. She is a social studies teacher at Leavenworth High School and also a member of the 2019 Kansas Teacher of the Year team. She discusses what it's like to be in the launch phase of a Gemini school and also shared about what it's like to be on the Teacher of the Year team. Check it out. Okay, well, thank you for being on the show today. If you could just start by introducing yourself, where you're at, what your current role is in education, and we'll go from there.
Okay, my name is Sharon Kuchinski, and I'm a social studies teacher at Leavenworth High School, and I'm also a member of the 2019 Kansas Teacher of the Year team.
Excellent. And so explain what that means to be a part of the Teacher of the Year team. What exactly do you guys do?
Well, it's been a great privilege to be a part of this team. We are 8 individuals who represent teachers across the state of Kansas. The 2019 Kansas Teacher of the Year, Whitney Morgan, has been chosen and represents us across all of the United States. But we as a team have been traveling the past few months to talk to college students throughout the state of Kansas, every education program in the state we've visited, and have spoken about our thoughts on education. And I specifically have been speaking on the redesign process.
And that's actually where I first heard from you, was at the KU summer conference. I saw you guys speak there, and it was just a great opportunity. I love that I get to see you guys have so many different styles and personalities, and it was great to see all of that kind of a one big long presentation. So.
Oh, well, thank you. It was a privilege to be there.
So you've been talking about school redesign, and you guys are a Gemini 1 school, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so where exactly are you guys in the process? Did you launch last year, or are you doing your full launch this year?
We are about to launch as we gather to start our new 2019-2020 school year. We're very excited to get rolling with it. And the last year was a year of discovery for all of us, a lot of collaboration, and we're very excited to start implementing some of the ideas that we have decided are best for our students at Leavenworth High School.
So taking a step back a little bit, because I think one of the most vital components of this is getting feedback. So how did you guys go about getting feedback on what you feel is best for students, and how did you include others in that process?
Well, it's been a big year of discovery in terms of question asking across the board. We've asked the faculty, administrators, family members of the students themselves, community members, about some of the things that we really feel are going to benefit our students. And changes that we feel we really need to make to move beyond what you want to call the status quo.
So what are some of the things you're going to be launching into this fall?
Well, some of the things that we're implementing, we're changing our schedule. So we are going to be going to block scheduling. And we also are going to have a daily advisory period where the students will meet with a consistent adult. And that will be primarily targeting some of these social emotional skills that we feel are very, very important to emphasize for our students. Additionally, we have something called Pioneer Hour, which will be over the lunchtime, and students will have choices as to what they actually want to do. It will give them some time to decompress, if you will. They'll have time to eat lunch, to visit with teachers. They might have academic concerns, or just go visit with the teacher to form relationships.
So for that Pioneer Hour, what does that look like structurally? Because I know that's something that a lot of people are really interested in piloting, but they're not really sure where to start. So how are you guys launching it this fall?
Well, we kind of had a few days in the spring where we took it for a trial run.
Oh, yeah.
I think it worked quite well. So the departments will have time for students to come in across the board. Like our lunch hours will be staggered so that there will always be someone available academically in my department, say for social studies. If a student is struggling in any of the class areas, someone will be there to help them. We'll have, like I said, staggered lunches. The students will be able to choose when they actually want to eat their lunch and when they want to go visit teachers. They'll have a little more freedom with moving around the building. They won't be confined just to the cafeteria area. They'll be able to take a grab and go lunch, if you will, and eat in the hallways. Another exciting thing that we're doing is redesigning some of our common areas. We've removed some locker bays, and actually our students have designed what those spaces are going to look like.
Oh, I love that. So how did that process go along? I love this idea of redesigning spaces because I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. So what did that process look like bringing the students in for that?
Right. Well, as you know, a lot of students are no longer utilizing their lockers. And so that was one of the first things they started to look at is a lot of that was wasted space. And I'd like to give a shout out to one of my fellow teachers, Brendan Olson, who teaches honors geometry. And he turned that into a project for his students. And so they went around and they looked at all of the areas of the school and started to decide what they wanted to do with those spaces. And he did a hands-on project with all of them to redesign the space.
Oh, I love that, putting that real world application to what they're learning about.
And they were super excited. I had the opportunity to walk around with some of them during one of my lunch hours. There are times when we as teachers are able to observe other teachers in the building. And so I chose to go to Brendan's class, and a lot of the students in honors geometry I also teach. So they were really psyched to show me what they had in store, and I can't wait to see what they designed. So it's going to be really great.
So you've got some schedule changes. You've got you're switching to a block schedule. As you guys transition to that block schedule, what is that looking like for teachers? Because I know at my school we switched to a block schedule, and that was a pretty big shift, and it was almost a mindset shift too for teachers. Like you've got a different chunk of time, and so you got to manage it differently. So, what kinds of things are you doing to help manage that block time?
Well, that's a great question. I know that we discussed a few things before we broke for summer break. I think that a lot of teachers have been, processing that over the summer months. And I know when we join together for, our beginning of the year activities, that's going to be a hot topic. I know I've taught block scheduling before, so to me, I'm very excited. It will mean rearranging my schedule a bit, but I think that after a little period of adjustment, we're going to settle into that quite well.
When I just having that big chunk of time to play around with, I mean, once you get the hang of it and figure out how to manage it, it's a great opportunity to do a lot of different things in that time period.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. And I know one of the things that we would like to focus on in the coming year is also starting to implement some service learning with some of our classes. And that would give the opportunity to work on those types of projects. Additionally, I know our principal's very interested in getting more community involvement, especially since we're located right next to Fort Leavenworth. We think it would be wonderful if we could partner with them a little bit and have some of the officers and other personnel from the post coming in to collaborate with our students.
Excellent. And so looking forward, so you guys are going to roll out a lot of these things this fall. Do you guys have a plan in place on what the next steps are going to be? Are you going to kind of regroup at the end of the semester? Are you going to see how the year plays out and then make adjustments at the end of the year?
I think we're going to see how the year plays out. I know that there's going to be adjustment going on, of course. But I think that one of the things we're going to try is a freshman academy. So we're looking at really helping our freshman students have a smooth transition into the building. And so we're going to spend 2 days a week really looking at the soft skills and study skills and things that we feel we can implement to really get the year rolling. We're going to design, I know our redesign team is currently looking at a curriculum that they'll be implementing, and we're going to look at how to use that time wisely. That I know I've spoken to the principal about, and we know things will be potentially a little rocky at the beginning with all of this, but it gives us time to reflect on what we really feel is working and not working. So we're pretty excited to get that all started.
When working with those freshmen, the great thing about that is, once you've got that foundation, it'll just continue to grow and add on to that as the years go on. Once you get 4 years of kids who have all gone through that freshman academy, that'll be amazing.
Right. And I know that we additionally, after this first year of implementing the freshman academy, we'd like to branch into other academies that I know some of the other schools in Kansas are implementing very effectively. I know our principal has mentioned maybe having a health science academy, business, fine arts, technical education, and even a teaching academy.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it's nice to hear that you've got ideas now. You've got some ideas down the road that you're kind of expanding towards. But I know in our own redesign process, a lot of it was just getting those systems in place, which sounds like what you're rolling out this fall, which will be great because once you get those done, it's so much easier to know, here's the time frame I have. Now, what can we do with it?
Right. I know a lot of our students are very excited about this. When we did our soft rollout, a lot of them said, this is going to be great. They didn't even really know how to react to having that choice, especially in the middle of the day. But I think after the second day that we tried it, they said, I think there are ways I can definitely make this work next year. And we really appreciate the fact that you're trusting us to make good decisions about what to do with our time.
So there are a lot of teachers who, when they listen to podcasts like this, they think, okay, this is amazing, but they don't know where to start. And so if you could talk to a teacher who was either in an Apollo school or one of those school districts that's just at the very beginning of the process, they haven't even started forming their committees yet, what advice would you have for them? What's something that you wish someone had told you when you first started at the beginning of last year?
I think the most important thing is to have a positive attitude and to embrace this as change that's needed for our students, and also be very open to collaboration. As we know, establishing synergy in any circumstance is going to be a bit rocky, and not everyone is going to be, agreeing on things. But I think if people can sit down and initially decide that we're doing what is best for our students, that if you move forward with that attitude, then things go rather smoothly. I also think it's very, very important to involve the students themselves. I know that some of them have spoken to me about being on the redesign team themselves, and they're very privileged to be on that team. They've been treated with respect, and they have been very mature and have been contributing greatly to the process. So I would also very highly encourage student involvement.
Absolutely. Well, and it always amazes me, and I don't know why, after so many years, it still amazes me what the kids come up with, because they look at everything through a different lens. And so they have so much great feedback to give into that.
They do. And I think they feel very confident that they know what they need. Which sometimes we agree with, and sometimes we need to give maybe just a little more advice. But I've just found generally they've put a lot of thought into this. And I know one of the things they've really tried to impress on me is that they want real world skills. And they want to walk out of high school knowing that no matter what they choose to do, whether they're going to college, they're going into a technical program, they're starting out in their first position somewhere, that they have the skills necessary to be successful. And they want that grounded, hands-on experience, and they really want school to be the place where they can get it.
Excellent. So wrapping this up a little bit, where can people follow you? Are you on Twitter? Is there anything that they can follow?
One of the main places you can probably find information about not only me, but the other members of the 2019 Kansas Teacher of the Year team is on our Facebook page, and we're also on Twitter and Instagram.
Excellent. I will put all of the links to those in the show notes so that people can click on it and follow everything you guys are doing with this process. So how long does the team work together? Is it all the way through the end of the summer, or is it through into next year? When is the transition over to the next year?
Are you talking about the Kansas Teacher of the Year team? Oh, okay. So we effectively hand the reins over in November when we choose the next Kansas Teacher of the Year and also the other 7 members of the team. We have a few things coming up in the next few months, but most of our traveling and speaking engagements were in the spring. So we've been very happy with the chance to speak to not only teachers in the state of Kansas, but those students coming into the profession. They're very excited, and it's energizing to see them really embrace the teaching profession.
Well, it's been so great to see so many great model teachers involved in this group. So it's been fun to watch.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode. Unless you have any other closing thoughts about teaching, education, students, anything amazing, parting words of wisdom.
Yeah, I would just like to say, in reflection, the team has talked a lot about the fact that other states in the United States do not have a program like we do as far as supporting the teachers in the state of Kansas and giving them recognition and giving a whole team of teachers the ability to represent all of us as educators. And a big shout out to the state of Kansas for doing that for us. I know Whitney has told us that there are few states, if any, that have a program like we do. So I highly encourage districts to take part in the Kansas Teacher of the Year program. It is worthy and a fantastic opportunity.
Absolutely. It shines a great spotlight on great educators in the state. So thank you for being on the podcast. And that is it for this episode.
Okay. Thank you, Josh.
For more information about this episode, check out my website, mrstockrocks.com. If you know someone doing something awesome in their classroom, let me know about it. I'd love to have them on the show. You can email me at teachlikeaninja@gmail.com or follow me on Twitter at teachlikeaninja. I've been your host, Josh Stock, 6th grade language arts teacher and self-proclaimed awesomeness expert. Until next time, book it forward and be awesome.